Welcome back to another wonderful episode of your favorite guitar and music podcast. That's right, it's the Pandemic Guitar Podcast. I'm one of your hosts. I'm on microphone number one. That's me, Tim. And of course, microphone number two, as designated by the random number generator. It just so happens to follow one. That's our dad, Rick. How you doing?
Not too bad. How are you? Hello,
Yeah,
everybody.
well, I'm good.
Okay.
I mean, I assume that we're both probably doing better than our third and final host on microphone number three. That's Amanda. Amanda, how are you doing?
Good. Hanging in
Yeah,
there.
good. Yeah. I think probably, normally we're doing things a little different here today. Normally we kind of do a little what's new and then we do the intro. This time we're going straight to the intro and then what's new. And Amanda, you probably have probably the best what's new news.
Yeah. So we had an earthquake here. This was like our first big earthquake. We had a 5.3 last week.
How
So
long have you been on the westland of the United States?
almost 3 years.
3 years, and
So
this is the first big one, huh?
yep.
Yeah.
So apparently they have like a big one every maybe like 3 years. Um, yeah, and then like the following week, LA had a big one too. So so yeah, so the good news is my Tanglewood survived.
The
Um,
Tanglewood survived, and
Tanglewood survived.
your poster.
My poster survived. My poster is off the wall now. We have everything off of the walls and bubble wrapped, but also because we're moving, so it's just better to just do it now and whatever, less that we have to do later. Um, so yeah, so then after that, because we had some stuff fall off of like our shelves and whatnot, nothing broke. It was fine, but I just decided to put the Tanglewood away in the little nifty holder case, traveling case. I was really afraid that I was afraid it was gonna fall off and, like, break,
Right.
because I don't have the little seat belt on, like, the neck holder, The little seat
Oh,
belt.
so it's just like a gig bag, kind
Yeah.
of.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
No, I mean, like, on, like, the case, the stand. It doesn't
The
have the little
stand.
seat belt holder.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah,
So, like, I
because
was
it
afraid
was
that
before
this
1960.
Oh,
The stand
Yeah.
was made before 1960. Yeah, so didn't
no
require
seat
seat
belt.
belts then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but I
Yeah,
was afraid that
the
I was
new
gonna, like
regulations.
yeah, I was afraid that it was gonna fall out of the guitar stand, so I took it out, put it away. So now it's safe from earthquakes and also dust. So that's
Well,
good,
Cool.
that's yeah. Save it from the dust.
right? Yep,
Yeah.
but we're still here.
Um,
We're still kicking.
yeah, sweet.
Yeah, hopefully that's the
What
last
about
one.
what about you, Dad? Anything new?
Yeah, just working on did a little work on the project guitar, but I'll wait until next episode and we'll talk more about that.
I think that's a great idea for the next episode because this episode is all about Greta Van Fleet and as far as the Wheel of Musicians and my experience at the recent concert. You can see I picked up my Greta Van Fleet swag.
Yeah, I was gonna
So
say you're wearing the band merch.
yeah. I had to double check after I got to my seat to make sure that Des Moines was on the shirt because if it wasn't, I would have been mad. I would have had to go back and get a refund, but it's there. It's hidden.
How much did
Cool.
that cost you?
A good solid $40.
Yeah, I feel like
Ouch.
that's like the going rate. Was that how much it
Yeah.
was for Joe Bonamassa shirts?
We didn't actually look. I mean, we kind of saw the merch stand from a distance. We kind of focused on the guitar that he had there that he was selling. We didn't really look at the other merch. I think this year when we go, I definitely will pick up a shirt. But the wife went a couple days after the Greta Van Fleet concert. The wife went to see Motley Crue. She picked
Mm.
up a long sleeve shirt, and I think that was 60.
Oh, jeez. Wow.
Yeah.
Ouch.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I don't know. You're paying for the experience. I don't know.
Hmm. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. And then yeah, speaking of Wheel of Musicians, I think Amanda, you can add a new artist
Yeah,
to
I'm
the
gonna
wheel.
add a new artist.
Okay,
I'm
who's
gonna
that?
add Rory Gallagher.
Rory Gallagher. You'll have
Yeah.
to refresh
So
my
no.
memory.
Okay, he is an
Yeah.
Irish. I should say he was an Irish guitarist. I feel like the world has been sleeping on this guy. Like, I was talking to Dad. I was like, how have has he not mentioned Rory Gallagher to me before? I've never heard of him prior to. I don't. How did this happen? Oh, I was looking up something for um, music news, and something came up with him and his guitar. There's like a big hubbub about his guitar going to auction. And then I was like looking into him and reading into him and listening to his music. He was great. He's another one of those people like Stevie Ray Vaughan, where you're kind of like died too young. You kind of wonder what really, if they really would have like shown more of their potential, like if had they not passed away so soon. So really great artist, and I'm going to add him on there. So
Perfect. I like that because Greta Van Fleet is off the wheel officially today.
finally,
We're going to talk about them. And then in its place, we'll put Rory Gallagher.
yeah,
And then
great.
who's John last week said we needed to put somebody on the wheel too. Who was that again? Was that Chris Stapleton?
I
Yes.
think so. Yeah,
Okay, so we're going to definitely do that. And if the wheel ever lands on Chris Stapleton, we'll bring John on. John can do the research.
yeah.
I like the episodes where John comes on because it's a whole lot less that we have to do.
Right. Well, I mean, as long as he
Uh-huh.
doesn't just peace out, without like
he,
without
he
saying goodbye.
felt so bad about that. He's his Argentina net or whatever you call it. No, he lost power. So it
Oh,
took him a little bit to finally get back on. We had already signed off before he could even get back on.
oh wow, that's a
Yeah.
bummer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So Greta Van Fleet, have you guys had the opportunity to check out some of their music?
I have.
I
I really only know one song.
Which song is that?
The main song. What is it called? Oh gosh, now I can't even think about it. I
Highway
would.
Tune?
Yeah, I was gonna say I would sing the tune, but then we're just gonna get copyrighted. Yeah, that one. That
Only
one's a
if
great
you
song.
add multiple instruments. I think if you tried your own rendition of it, I think you'd be all right. I think.
Well, Dad wasn't with that Christmas Canon song.
Well, yeah, but I mean, he also
eh,
put in like everything. He did the whole piece instead of just one.
Right.
It's my fault
yeah.
too because I did use it. I was like, we'll
Mm,
be all right, and we were fine until the dang YouTube algorithm got us.
YouTube's.
Mm.
Was it
Dang
was it
YouTube.
the algorithm or was it something else?
Nah, I honestly don't know.
Don't know.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you.
But yeah, that's the only song that I've heard of theirs. I don't know. Dad, have you listened to Greta Van Fleet?
Yeah, I did. At work this week has been very busy and sort of like started listening, skip, started listening to something else, skip. So really don't
Which is
know
a
any. Go ahead.
fancy way of saying you don't like them.
No, no,
Well,
I was
you said
just busy
skip,
at work.
skip. Okay. Mm,
Well, yeah, what happens is that all of a sudden I get, I start listening to something and I realize, oh, I got a meeting to go to. And then it's like, okay, stop. Then when I get back, it's like, okay, yeah, I'll listen to something different. Then all of a sudden I got to do something, you know, and it's put on hold, get back an hour later. And I'm like, skip, go to the next thing. So
Well,
I
I
don't know.
think that you're missing out, because Greta Van Fleet is kind of compared to Led Zeppelin quite often,
mhm,
just because of the
Okay.
way that they sound and how Josh sings. So I think that if you like the Led Zeppelin music, you would probably end up liking Greta Van Fleet as well. And
mhm,
I actually didn't know because I didn't know this. I didn't know that they actually formed in 2012. So they had been around almost 10 years before I was even introduced to them. And I
mhm,
remember because I think it was like
Well,
2020, 2021, somewhere in there. I was trying to remember exactly where and how I was introduced. I'm sure it had something to do with social media, but I just don't remember. I just remember that by the time I looked them up, I believe they had 2 albums out, and then very shortly after that, I think they released their 3rd album, and I remember doing research, early on because of this podcast, and there really wasn't a whole lot out there about the band. It was very, very minimal information, and I would say over the last year or 2, um, especially since the last time I looked, there's quite a bit more information about them,
Mhm.
which
Okay.
is pretty cool because I actually thought that this was going to be a lot harder to research and put together than what it really was.
Hmm.
So, 2012, the band gets together. Okay. Now you have 4 founding members, but before the 4 founding members, uh, Jake, who is
From
the
State Farm?
guitarist. Nope, he's not from State Farm. He's just a kid from
Okay.
Michigan.
Okay.
Okay. And it's this whole thing is really his dream. He wants to be in a band. So he grows up, he goes to high school band class, and I'm so jealous because I'm assuming that he went to high school band and played guitar. There's really nothing out there that says he did band to play something else. Because when I went to school, and I don't know, Amanda, if you went to the same school I did for a while, right?
Mm, for yeah, until what, 5th grade? Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. So I just remember when I was in, I think 6th grade, so junior high, I believe. Maybe it's even earlier than that. I don't remember. Whenever they said, "Hey, you have to join band,"
Mhm.
it was a requirement. And I said, I wanted to play the guitar. And I remember the instructor saying, well, you can't. We have nobody that can teach guitar. And I said, okay, I want to do the piano. And the instructor said, you can't. That's my instrument.
Mhm.
And so then I tried the flute and all the other instruments. And finally, I'm like, I guess I'm doing the trumpet.
Mhm.
And so if he is in high school and they actually have guitar, and I think most high schools do now, which is cool. But anyway, so while he was at school, he ended up meeting a guy named Kyle, and it's either Hawk or Hack, Hauck. And he was the band's original drummer. So Jake and Kyle, they were, hanging out in Jake's parents' garage and they were just jamming out. And that's when those two got Jake's brothers, Josh and Sam, involved, kind of said, hey, come join the band, be part of this. Right now, Jake and Josh apparently are twins.
Are they?
Apparently, that's what from the research I did, they're twins. I don't
They
know. I
don't
don't
look,
think they
yeah,
look like twins,
no.
but yeah, maybe they are, maybe they're not. And then Sam, who does keyboards and wow, bass.
Bass,
He
Base.
plays the
fishing.
fish. Uh, so that he's Sam is the younger brother. All right. So 2012, the band forms. You got 3 family members and then basically a friend who forms the band. And the band name actually came from when one of the relatives, and I'm not quite sure which side it came up on, but one of the relatives was talking about another resident of the local town where they're from, and their last name was Gretna Van Fleet.
Hmm.
And Kyle like really loved this, and they came up with a variation of Greta Van Fleet. And of course, they got permission and everything like that from uh the I think it was a lady whose last name was Gretna Van Fleet.
Mhm.
And yeah, that's how the band was formed.
It's interesting. I always wondered
Yeah.
about the name because that's kinda unique.
It is. A lot of
Mhm.
people will sit there and think, oh, if they don't know Greta Van Fleet for whatever reason, they think that Greta is the lead singer's name and that the lead singer is a female.
Right. Actually, wasn't it, when they first started they first decided on the name, wasn't it VON? It was Von Fleet, and then they decided to change it? to VAN?
It maybe maybe that's why I always wanna say Greta Van Fleet, but again, there's not a whole lot of information out there, it's kinda hard to find, and a lot of it, you have to scour videos and interviews and stuff like that. I wasn't able to find anything specific, to that, but it is Greta Van Fleet, according
Mhm.
to all the videos that I watched and interviews, and Jake is just kind of when he does the interviews and he's with people in guitar stores and stuff like that, you can tell this guy is really talented, but he's just kind of not like a super outgoing people person. He's just like, yeah, whatever, let's talk guitars, and he plays super good.
Hmm.
Uh, Now, Jake, who is the original drummer, he was only with the band for a year. So
Hmm.
2012 to 2013, and then Danny Wagner came in, which was a good friend of Jake and Josh's, I believe both. Now, I actually had to do a little extra research and find out why Jake left the band. And apparently, he just wasn't like super focused on the band and, just wasn't fully with the band growth, didn't want to didn't want to have that sole focus.
Mhm.
And he may have had some underlying health issues too. They didn't say what, and it really doesn't matter. I mean, if you've got health issues, obviously you got to take care of that before jumping on the road and becoming part of a big band, at least as big as Greta Van Fleet. I'm going to make this mistake about 100 times tonight.
Yeah, I do the same thing.
Yeah.
I do the same thing. Greta Van.
So now while Jake was with the band, they recorded Cloud Train, Highway Tune. This is Highway Tune's one of the band's most famous songs, and that was actually on their first album, and Standing On. So those songs were kind of created very early on. I think Jake even said that the guitar part for Highway Tune had started as far back as 2010.
Hmm.
Wow.
So yeah, I mean, 2010, you're a kid in school, you're playing, you're jamming, you're writing songs. It wasn't until I want to say 2017, January of 2017, and this is what kind of blew me away, is that apparently the way I understand it is that in the TV show, um, it's a Showtime show, Shameless.
Okay.
Apparently, the way I read it is that the band was playing in an episode of Shameless. I have not seen the episode. I know the show. I've seen episodes before, but with for me, like most TV series, once you get past the first or second season, it kind of fizzles out for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
So I think what really happened was they performed on Shameless, and that song kind of blew up. And I kind of chuckled at that because Metallica, the same thing kind of happened with them as far as they kind of like, they were popular, they were famous, but when they were on that one show, Amanda, you remember which one that one was?
Well,
Uh, they were on that TV show. Why am I drawing a blank?
I'm
But
thinking
anyway,
more of
the kids, it's the
was
kids.
was it an MTV show you're talking about?
No, it wasn't. It was a more recent TV shows.
Oh, Stranger Things. Stranger Things.
Stranger Things. Wow.
Right.
Yeah, it was right there. But like when the kid performed a Metallica song on that TV show, all of a sudden Metallica blew back up.
Right.
There's a few other songs that I've really liked and became fans of because they were used in like Apple commercials or TV shows. So
Mhm.
I thought that was a pretty interesting thing that they were featured before they had even released an album because the Highway Tune I don't think was released officially until March of 2017.
So it's been out for a while.
It has been out for a while.
Yeah. I feel like I
Uh,
only heard it, like, fairly recently, 2020, like
right.
you said, 2021.
Yep. And I think maybe they recorded the single of the song prior to the show, but the show is what got Highway Tunes and Greta Van Fleet into as an official band in iTunes for their first single.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's kind of the history of the band. They have currently 4 albums out. The first
Wow.
one is From the Fires in 2017, and the popular songs on that one are gonna be Highway Tune and Safari Song. Highway Tune, obviously amazingly good. It's one of their top hits. They even played it during the concert.
Oh, wow.
Oh, so did everybody go crazy? Was that, like, their yeah.
Everybody who was paying attention went crazy. There was
Huh,
a bunch of people. Like, it took me a minute to be like, "Oh, yeah, okay, I remember that. I know what that is." And we'll talk about the concert here in a little bit.
okay.
Then their second album came out a year later, 2018, Anthem of the Peaceful Army. And the songs that are really popular on that album are You're the One, which is one of my favorites. I love that one because Jake plays some acoustic guitar on there. Uh, just really, really cool. Sounds amazing. I love it. Actually, that's the song that I decided to try to learn.
Okay.
Hmm.
And then When the Curtain Falls is another popular one on that album. So right about this point here is where I think that I got into Greta Van Fleet. Because I remember I was listening to From the Fires and Anthem of the Peaceful Army, and then all of a sudden, not very long after, all of a sudden I log into Apple iTunes, and boom, the Battle at Gardens Gate 2021 is released. They have Heat Above and My Way Soon, the first 2 tracks on that album, just so well done. It really just sets the stage for the rest of the album, which is really good. I think that it's probably not as popular as their first 2 albums, still a really good album. And then in 2023, Starcatcher comes out. And this is their current released album. And of course, the concert I went to was their Starcatcher tour. This one has the Indigo Streak, Sacred, The Thread, and Meet the Master. Those are probably the 3 really popular songs on that album. And I'll be honest with you, for me, that was the hardest one to really get into. I just feel like it's still Greta Van Fleet, but it's just different than what they've done in the past.
Hmm.
So I had to listen to that album quite a few times before I was like, yeah, I dig this album. I like what they're doing.
Hmm.
Sounds good.
So yeah. So I mean, if you go back to the 2017 album, you're gonna love the band. And then of course you get to kind of watch them grow. I mean, look at 2017, 2018. Um, and then 2021. So they had a little bit of a break in there.
Mhm.
And then from 2021 to 2023, another little break, a 2-year break. And I'm sure that's because 2028, or I'm sorry, 2018, I would imagine somewhere in there, they're starting to tour.
Yeah.
I mean, now they're touring with all sorts of people. They're even opening up for Metallica.
Whoa.
Wow. Nice.
That's big.
So that's huge.
Mhm.
Yep.
That's a really huge thing. I would love to go to that show because that would be 2 bands for the price of one. It would be an expensive price for one, but still
It'd be
2
worth it.
bands. Yeah,
Yeah.
it would be worth it. So their influences, cover that for a little bit here real quick.
Okay.
Now, all 4 of them have different types of music that they prefer, but they all kind of bond over blues.
Hmm.
Okay.
Which I think if you listen to and you watch some of the interviews with Jake, playing guitar and kind of riffing around with people, I think you can really see that blues influence in there.
Mhm.
Okay.
Jake, he likes the rock and roll, likes the blues. Sam, the younger brother, he likes jazz.
So is Sam the singer?
No, so Josh is the singer.
Okay. Okay.
Jake is the guitarist. Sam is keyboard and bass or bass
Okay.
if you're into fishing.
Bass.
And then Josh is
Pass.
drums.
Okay.
All right. So Sam likes jazz. He's the younger brother. Kind of weird. But okay. You like what you want. And I swore I saw somewhere where one of them enjoys polka, but I couldn't find it again after I noticed it.
I
So
mean, so
I'm
does
just
Weird Al. Weird Al's the coolest
right.
guy ever. So,
For
you know,
sure.
yeah.
Danny prefers folk music.
Okay. So that says fold.
It does
So I was
say,
like,
"Hey, look,
what?
I
I
know
was
what
like,
I meant, not what I
what
wrote."
kind of
So
what kind of music is fold music?
anything that you can listen to while you do your laundry.
Both.
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yep, it's so Danny prefers folk music, and Josh is kind of more into world music, which
I could
uh,
see
I,
that. He's kind of
yeah,
weird.
I can
I
totally
mean, not
yeah.
weird, but he's like, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
I wouldn't say weird. I would just say he seems like he's just more open to world music. And
Right.
if you've ever gone into like iTunes and looked at the world music playlists, there's actually a lot of really good stuff out there that's being put out in other countries. And you can see that American artists do get influenced from that music.
Yeah.
Mhm.
He's very I feel like he's kind of eclectic, you know? It's a little
Mhm.
I don't wanna say hippy dippy. He's a little out there, I feel like. But
Why would you say why do you say that?
I have seen videos, I've seen just kind of how he dresses on how he chooses to dress on stage and off stage. I feel like he just has a very eclectic personality. He's just a little I don't know the word I'm looking for. Different.
I could see that, because, yeah, Josh, just about any time I've seen him in any videos or anything like that, yeah, he's always kinda wearing, like, clothes that make you feel like he's either about to go on stage and perform or he just came off stage.
Right.
Like, he's
Yeah.
always in character, if that makes sense?
He definitely embraces like that 70s vibe, like full time. You know what I mean?
Well, right. And they were influenced heavily by a lot of those 70s bands
Yep.
and
Yeah.
80s and 80s, 70s and 80s bands. So, and I said earlier that Greta is often compared to Led Zeppelin.
Yeah.
And so, for me, I've never seen Led Zeppelin live.
Mhm.
So I really don't know what that concert looked like or anything.
So, real quick on the flip side of that, I have heard a little bit of criticism against them just because people are questioning are what they doing is it really unique because Led Zeppelin has already done it? You know what I mean? So a lot of people don't think it's unique and don't think that they're doing anything different or cutting edge because it's almost like they're a copy and paste version in some ways of Led Zeppelin, you know?
Ah, yeah, there's always going to be a critic out there though, right? So,
Right.
yeah, yes, okay, their music style is kind of Led Zeppelin-esque. I think that the band probably gets compared more to the sound,
Mhm.
especially with Josh and his voice.
Mhm.
Now, Jake has admitted that Led Zeppelin was definitely one of their influences. And Josh has said, yeah, I can kind of see that, but that was not his intent. He actually kind of got that voice purely by accident. All he was trying to do is sing over the band, and that's what came out.
Hmm. Interesting. Hmm.
So, I know that Robert Plant from Led Zeppelin,
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
has even said that they are they have that vibe that Led Zeppelin one, the
Hmm.
early Led Zeppelin. Personally, if that's the case, then fine. I actually like the sound. And is Led Zeppelin still out touring? is Led
Don't
Zeppelin
know.
still creating records? I don't know. I
I
didn't
don't
look into this.
I
I
don't
don't
think so.
mm-mm.
But if you have a band of today that is a resemblance of a great band that's gone or almost gone, and that band is so good and people say, "Hey, they remind me of this other great band, Led Zeppelin." I would hope that people would say, "Really? I wanna go back and check out Led Zeppelin." And then they get introduced to that old music, the good old music.
Yeah, I could see that.
Now,
Yeah.
Robert Plant has also said that Josh is a or referenced Josh as a, beautiful little singer, and that made me laugh,
Mhm.
Oh, wow.
because again, I I'm not 100% sure because I haven't stood next to him. I think he's a smaller guy.
Could
Yeah.
be.
How old is
I
he?
think all 3. You know what? I didn't, try to get that information. Yeah, I really didn't. They can't be very old at all.
Probably in their 20s.
Well, let's see here. Yeah, they gotta be in their 20s. If you think, 2000 what, 12, they were in high school.
Mm, yeah, I don't
So,
know.
yeah, they're pretty, they're I think they're younger. So hopefully that means, and they seem like they've got a good grasp on what they're doing and what their vision is. I don't see Greta Van Fleet as that band that's out there living the old school rock and roll life, you know?
You never
So
know.
you don't, but, hopefully they'll be around, for a long time and they'll continue to put out music because I enjoy the crap out of them. And,
Yeah. Why didn't you
you
get
know,
t-shirts for us? I mean, it's just rude. I
you mean
mean,
Greta
look,
Van Fleet? Oh, okay.
I'm the one that told you about the concert. So, I'm a
Yes,
little
you're
offended that
right.
I
If
didn't
they
even get merch.
you know what? If they were 25 bucks a piece, maybe I would have done that, but $40 a piece, it's a little pricey. But
Okay.
you know what? Next time, hopefully, you're gonna be back in, our neck of the woods, and,
Yeah,
when they come back, you'll be able to go to the concert too.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and then you'll
Yeah.
be able to get your so finally, the, band was also influenced by groups like Rush, Aerosmith, Queen, and The Doors, amongst
I
many others.
I can see Aerosmith for sure.
Yep.
Yeah. So
Okay.
anyway,
So
so
that's
how was the concert experience?
Yeah.
okay, so the concert experience was amazing.
So
It
this was
really
better
Was
than the experience at the big arena.
oh, yes,
Okay,
but, also that wasn't a concert, that was a comedian,
true.
but
That's
still a big venue type thing. Yeah, this was much better, and, I'm not a big fan of, large crowds and loud noise, and when you combine the 2 together, I tend to, get very anxious, and, I'm ready to get out of there pretty quickly.
mhm.
And I had hearing protection. I'm going to talk about that here in just a second. And this was a concert that I actually wanted to go to. I was excited for this concert, and I'm glad that you actually reached out to me and said, "Hey, are you going to see Greta Van Fleet?" Because if it wasn't for that, I would not have even known that they were going
Yeah,
to be
because
playing.
you're not a fair person.
I'm not
Yeah. So
at
you guys
all.
didn't actually go to the fair prior to that. You just went in, went to the concert, left.
So we got to the fair. The concert started at I believe 7 o'clock, if I'm not mistaken. I think we got there about a quarter to six. So we went and we went to the excuse me, we went to the fair shortly after. Our friends that we went with. So there's 4 of us: me, the wife, and my buddy, and my wife's friend. Um, they're a couple. We're a couple. So we got there and we went and got a corn dog.
Yes, I
It
was gonna
goes
say, did
under.
you get a corn dog, some deep fried
I did
Oreos?
not. I
Oh,
did not. The wife got a corn dog, and then I was just kind of sitting there like, whatever. I'm not a fan, a fair food type of guy. I don't eat a whole lot of junk food. And then somebody, and I don't remember who it was, but in the group mentioned that they had lobster rolls.
Ew.
And I'm like, I have to check this out. So we found the shack with lobster rolls, and I got myself a nice $31 lobster roll. It was
Oh
good.
my gosh.
It was
I I would not have
Dad almost
trusted.
What?
spit out his drink.
That's crazy. $31, but also I don't think I would trust a lobster roll outside of the East Coast. You know what I mean? Like, and especially at like an Iowa State Fair. That is weird to me. That's like gas
Yeah.
station sushi. Yeah.
Well, I don't think it was Brothers Maine. For whatever reason, when we were talking about it, I thought it was Brothers Maine, but I don't think it was. Anyway, I get in line. I'm like 31 bucks. I'm like, I probably need to eat something anyway. I want to try this, you know. So I got it. And it's if you've ever the last time I've had a lobster roll is in Vegas. There's one I think it's inside the Venetian.
Mhm.
And they're really good. And I think those are like 45 bucks or something
Oh,
like that.
jeez. That's crazy.
Well, it's Vegas, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, the lobster roll, I was expecting it to be hot, but it was more like a lobster salad on a roll, but it was really good. Um, Normally would it be 31 bucks? Probably not, but you're at the Iowa State Fair, so you know you're going to pay more for everything.
Mhm.
So then we kind of hung out outside of the grandstand while the opening band played, which is the Beaches.
Hmm. Never heard of
It's a
them.
group of, I believe, 4 Canadian women. They're a
Oh.
rock band. So right there, you can probably see the play on the name.
Oh,
Uh, uh, yeah. So
I get it.
anyway, mhm. They weren't bad. I obviously we weren't in the grandstands. I didn't want to be inside the grandstand any longer than I absolutely had to. So we kind of hung out outside, and then as they were wrapping up, that's when we went into the grandstand. And we walk in, and I'm like, "Hey, where's the merchandise stand?" And they pointed me over to where it was. We went over there. There was a little bit of a line, but it moved pretty quick. And I got my t-shirt because I told the wife I'm getting a t-shirt.
Mhm. I thought you don't really
Uh,
wear black.
I normally don't, but this was the only shirt that they had that had the tour dates on the back.
Oh.
So that's what I wanted. I wanted to get a t-shirt from the tour or from the concert that had the tour dates, like Starcatcher Tour. So that's what I
Mm,
got.
cool.
So yeah, we got through the merch line and we pretty much got to our seats right as Greta was coming on stage. It was like perfect timing.
Hmm.
And our seats were amazing. They were center stage about 200, 225 yards away from the stage.
Wow.
So take that number times 3, that's how many feet. I don't really know. I'm just comparing it to like when I'm on the rifle range.
Right.
I know about
Yeah.
how many yards that is.
Yeah.
It was still everything was still kind of far away, but I was still close enough where I could see what was going on, and I could, I mean, when they would shoot off these big fireballs, just straight up into the air, and every time one of those went out or went up into the air,
You can
I
feel it.
felt that heat on
Yeah.
my face,
Mhm.
like I
Yeah.
tripped and fell into a fire. I was like,
Yeah.
"Dude." Like, so I didn't have to worry about being chilly, that's for sure.
Was it super hot? Like, I mean, temperature, like,
No. No, it was really, really comfortable.
wow. That's rare
And
because typically it's really hot during the fair and it's miserable.
yeah, it was very comfortable, and we actually so I think there was like 4 seats to the right of us. Nobody showed up. So I don't know, because remember, the fanfare people, they can buy like 6 seats or 8 seats for a cool, I think they were originally $60. And then they took those tickets and put them on StubHub. And by the time you pay all the extra fees and the markups and everything like that, they're $170 a seat.
Right.
So
Yeah.
there was nobody to the right of us, like 4 or 5 seats were empty. So we all shifted over one seat. so that all of us had a better center view of the stage. And it was really cool because, people were standing up in front of you, but they were low enough that when they were standing up, they weren't blocking your view. And it was the crowd was great. Like I felt like everybody was really there to enjoy the music. There wasn't people getting rowdy or anything like that.
Was it a full house?
Pretty full. I don't know if it was like sold out. Maybe it was sold out, but people didn't show up. I don't know. But yeah, it was pretty full. And it was really good. It was really good. They played I think it was a set list of like 15 songs. And I was
Mhm.
really here's my biggest fear. My biggest fear was that they were going to come out and they were going to play the Starcatcher album and then maybe throw in a couple of extra songs just to get that hour because the Starcatcher album is only like 45 minutes long,
Mhm.
46 minutes. But they kind of touched, I think they only did maybe 3 songs off the Starcatcher, and then they went and did a lot of their hits, their classics that everybody likes. And have you ever seen the YouTube video where with Eddie Van Halen where the lead singer, I know that somebody's going to call me out because I can't think of the what his name is. But he's like, "Hey, the best guitarist in the world, Eddie Van Halen." And the entire band walks off stage and Eddie Van Halen just goes to town for like 15 minutes.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Greta did that. Greta played some music and then the band went off except for the drummer. And the drummer just went on like a drum solo for 15 minutes. And then the band
Nice.
came out. And then a little bit later, everybody left the stage except for Josh. And Josh just went crazy on the guitar for like 15 minutes.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Band came back on, and then I think if I remember right, the band left. And I always love it at the end of the concert. Like you think it's the end of the concert, and people just start working towards the doors. And I'm
Yeah.
just sitting there. I'm like, I know what's happening. I know it's
Yeah.
coming. And then
Encore.
the band comes out, and Sam does his thing with the piano, and then they just finish out. I mean, probably another 30 minutes. But then when they came out, everybody's just rushing back to the stage. It's so funny.
I don't know why people don't think of that, you know? They must not go to concerts very often.
Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea.
Because you said
But
that
that
happened
was
at another concert, right? Where was it? Where'd you go?
that
Oh,
was
Council Bluffs?
yeah, that was in
The one back.
Council Bluffs at the Oliver Anthony concert. Yeah,
Yeah,
like
that one.
people did the same thing where they were just heading out, and all of a sudden Oliver comes back on, everybody rushes back in. I just sat in my seats. I think about 3/4 of the way through, I got up to run to the restroom real quick, but otherwise, like I was in my seat. I was jamming with the band. It was just awesome. And
Hmm.
I think that was probably my first real concert because I don't think Joe Bonamassa is a concert. Like Joe Bonamassa is more like a more intimate style of show
Yeah.
than what this
Right.
Greta Van Fleet was.
I
Mhm.
think, and I'm gonna get called out on this, but I think Joe Bonamassa is incredibly boring to watch. I said what I said.
I could see why you would say that.
Yeah, I can see
Dad
it
told me
too.
about that thing, not to change subject, but that little concert he did or whatever on PBS, and I watched a little bit of it, and the first song was really good, but after that, it's like, okay, guy, do you move? Do you take your sunglasses off? Do you do pyrotech? I mean, what do you do? It just it
Nope.
just was
He
boring to
plays
me.
guitar. Yeah.
Yep, that's all
No,
he
like
does.
when you go to the Joe Bonamassa concert, you're there to just
Sit.
enjoy him playing guitar. I mean, and again, we can go into the hearing protection now because I remember when we went to the Joe Bonamassa concert uh, last year with the hearing protection in. You could hear every little note. And when he would start playing quiet, it was like musical pin drops. It was just an amazing experience.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So yeah, I had I believed I can't even remember the name of the hearing protection that I had, but they kind of broke on me.
Oh,
while I was
bummer.
trying to clean them.
Yeah,
And they
that's
were
what
like
you're
100
saying.
and yeah, they're like
Well,
$150 or something like that. Kind of a little expensive.
yeah, did you add the
Uh,
company on, like, Twitter or anything like that?
no, no, I didn't. I probably should have
Yeah, or made a
reached
little
out to the
video.
company
Yeah,
and said, "Hey, here's what happened." Like I really only used them 3 times.
Yeah.
You know what? I didn't want to do that. They were good. It was good hearing protection. I just thought to myself, can I get good hearing protection that's made for like concerts and venues that doesn't cost 150 plus dollars?
yeah.
And that's when I stumbled upon a company called Loops, Loops earplugs.
Mhm.
Now they had, and I stumbled because they have a couple different variations of these earplugs. They have these are made for like uh venues with like people talking loud. These are for like, hey, I just want to take out all background noise around me. These are, so they have these earplugs that reduce the amount of sound by so many decibels. And then I stumbled across the Switch, which is their earplugs that they have a little switch on them so I can switch between at least 3 different environments.
Right.
Mhm.
Yep.
They worked really well, very, very
Okay.
well. And I'm going to post an unboxing video of the earplugs. Hopefully, I can get that out before this episode drops. So you can go and kind of see like what my first impressions were when I took them out of the box and everything like that. But I can say that my left ear worked amazing. Didn't have a single issue with my left ear. My right ear, however, I was still getting a lot of noise through.
Mhm. Yeah, you're telling
And I
me
think,
that.
yep. And then what you said was that maybe because I have the rubber tips that actually fit in your ear, I
Right.
have the smalls on. And what you said is maybe try keeping the small on your right because that was fine and putting a medium on your left because maybe, I guess your ears aren't exactly the same necessarily.
Yeah.
Is it, well, what? With Jab, were you gonna say something?
No, no, no.
Oh, is it kinda like your feet where, like, one foot can be bigger than the other? One shoe is tighter?
Maybe,
Possibly.
Mhm, mhm.
possibly. So yeah, I'm gonna have to try to find a
Yeah.
venue to. I'll switch out the left small with the medium. See if I can find a Luke Fox concert or something to go to, and test
Mhm.
them out to see if that helps out. But they were really good. I enjoyed them. I was able to hear the concert very well. I was still even able to have conversations with the people sitting right next to me. They were really good.
Good.
And
It's
my
good to
buddy
hear.
who went with me, he actually said, he's like, I want the link to this place. I think I'm going to, because him and his wife go to a bunch of concerts. So he said, send the link. I think I'm going to pick up a pair for me and a pair for the wife because they go to a lot of concerts, like I said. I'm like, yeah, sure. Here you go. So definitely give them a look because you're talking $60 for a set of earplugs that have the 3 different environment settings on them
Right.
for half the price.
Right.
They're no batteries required. You don't have to recharge them, nothing.
Yeah.
Wow.
So for the price, I think they're worth it. And hopefully the true test will in fact be the Joe Bonamassa concert. Because if it's anything like it was last time,
Oh, it was loud.
it was loud.
Yep.
So anyway, that was kind of my concert experience and a little bit of background history and information on Greta Van Fleet. Hope you check them out.
That's
Yeah.
fun. That sounds like it was a good time. I'm jealous. I'm like I've subscribed to like all of like the concert venues and whatnot in Des Moines, and so like I'm keeping my eye out for upcoming ones, and I'm ready to jump back into like going to concerts and whatnot too. So
There's a apparently a fairly new venue in Waukee,
yeah,
just
the
down the
vibe.
road.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't been there, but I've been seeing that they're getting some pretty good names in there.
Yeah. They're getting big
Um,
names there.
yeah,
So
so
that's
I,
exciting.
I've talked to some people who have gone there. They said it's a really nice place. So I'm excited to check them out. I think Smashing Pumpkins is going to be there,
Yeah.
but they're if you just want to stand, I don't think the prices were too bad. But if you want a chair to sit in, hand over your paycheck.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's a bummer.
Yeah, it
So
is.
yeah.
Hmm.
Anyway, I was also going to talk about my custom build, my guitar that I'm having my buddy work on, but we're out of time for this episode. So I think I'm going to push that off to the next episode if we can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why don't we could do my project or your project first and my project second,
It can be
or
a
Yeah.
I,
project guitar update
yeah.
Yeah. The,
episode.
the, the project guitar projects update or something like that.
Yeah.
Something. Yeah. And
Absolutely.
it'll involve pictures so everybody can see how the progress is coming along and yeah.
I got some pictures. I have pictures of my completed neck, and it is very nice.
Well, hey, you
Cool.
never even sent us video of the Greta Van Fleet concert. Like I was expecting to get video, and I didn't even get a single one. I was like, okay, fun
At
hater.
least a
So
Just
picture.
I need
take all
to
the
the
fun for yourself.
buddy. Okay, yeah. So my buddy, who I went with, he took a lot of video and a lot of pictures. I sat down and I intended on taking pictures, but I was just so into that concert and what was going on that I think I took my phone out of my pocket once to take a picture, and I was like, oh, this picture's horrible. So I just put my phone back in my pocket, and I was so zoned in on that concert.
Yeah. Well, that's actually
Cool.
it's better you were living in the moment and you weren't looking at your phone and worrying about capturing it. You were just, enjoying it
Yeah.
for what it was. Because too many people don't do that anymore. They really don't.
Yeah.
No, no, they
So
don't. It was great. I mean, I got the only critique that I could give for the concert is they could have upped the volume on Josh's vocals just a little bit. It was there were
a little
quite a
low.
few times where yeah, it was really hard to hear him over the music.
Bummer.
Yeah.
Yeah. But again, solid show. To me, worth the money that I paid to go. And it was expensive because I mean, like I said, the tickets were $100. We decided to Uber from home to the fair and home. So
Oh
obviously
wow.
state fair concert prices are high. But I just didn't want to deal with paying for parking and driving. And, I didn't want to deal with any of that. So I'm like, we're
That's a
going to
jaunt
Uber.
though for you. Wasn't Uber super expensive for that?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it was probably about 75 bucks round trip with
Mm.
tip and everything like that.
There's no way parking would have been that much.
No, it wouldn't have been, but you've got to I mean, you're talking with traffic, you're probably talking 40 minutes to get there, 40 minutes to get out of there.
True.
It's just I just didn't want to deal with it. I wanted to go and see all I wanted to do was go to the Greta Van Fleet concert. I didn't want to have any other stress, any other worry. I didn't even care.
Yeah, you want to have fun. Yeah,
I wanted to enjoy
understandable.
myself. I didn't want to deal with stupid drivers and trying to find a parking spot. And I didn't want
Parking
to
in
deal with it.
somebody's yard.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh,
Apparently, and I know we're running short on time, but apparently, the Uber driver was saying that there was one yard that was charging $80 per
mm.
hour. And I'm like, "What?"
Oh my
She goes,
Yeah.
gosh.
"Yeah." And
That's
and
People
he
are
ju
so greedy.
and she goes, "Yeah." And the yard was full.
Jeez. Oh,
But you
people are
could you
greedy.
could get there was people that were allowing parking in their yards half a block away from the main entrance, and they were only asking 10 bucks.
Yeah,
wow.
that's
I
crazy.
think one of the churches in that area, they were allowing you to park in their church parking lot and they were charging $20. Okay, I get that because the money's going to the church.
Yep.
I get it. But yeah, $80 an hour to park in a yard.
That's insane.
No.
No, that's
Yeah.
crazy.
I wouldn't do that.
No.
Yeah. So, and I think they do buses too. I think you can park downtown somewhere and then take a bus to the to the show. I think they have a
Yes,
few, or to the fairgrounds. There's a few
please.
different ways to get in and out. I just didn't want to worry or stress out about anything. I just wanted to go and enjoy the concert, which is exactly what I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
anyway, why don't you get us out of here, Amanda?
Yeah. Yep. All right. Thanks for hanging out with us on another episode of the Pandemic Guitar Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please let us know by reaching out to us. You can contact us on Instagram at Pandemic Guitar, by email, pandemicguitar@icloud.com, on Facebook, and also now on YouTube. Please subscribe to our channel. Until next time, keep on playing or don't. We won't tell. See ya.
And we're going to get that quote on a t-shirt and get it up on a swag shop so you can order that and
Um,
support a small struggling family podcast.
There you
yeah,
go.
that'll be cool.
Yep.
That'll be very cool. Awesome.
Yep.
All right. Well,
All
look
right.
forward to that, and we'll see everybody in 2 weeks.
We
Yep.
will see ya.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Toodaloos.